So before I get to the slides, I'm just gonna break the ice a little bit for those of you who are still coming in, logging in, and trying to be as interactive as possible. So I'm gonna have a few questions for you. Feel free to use your chat box to write the answer, Y for yes and N for no. And feel free to, make a note of it and ask me towards the end of the section as a part of the Q&A session. So my first question with regards to introducing this topic and getting you all moved towards the newer social aspect, or it's also known as the science of human relationship. It has various different names. Social intelligence is taken as something of a tactic or something of a topic like being smart, street smart, as opposed to book smart. And book smart or IQ smart, or IQ is a term mostly relevant to the academia. But I would like to emphasize here saying that book smart comes after being street smart or social smart. So in this regard, I'm just gonna be asking you a few things just for you all to get comfortable and see the perspective that we need and the context that we need to get going. So my first question to you all is, do you all believe in the famous saying, the quote by Mahatma Gandhi, that man is a social animal? Hope it's clear. I can rephrase it. Mankind is a social being. Well, man is a social being is actual code, but it's being corrupted to be used as a social animal. Now, this was a quote from maybe 100 years ago, when the social area didn't comprise of everything that we have in social today. The social in those areas was just the print and maybe a little bit of media, reels in the cinemas. But anyway, the question is mankind or the humankind is a social being? You can start your answers typing on the chat back Y for yes and N for no. I'm gonna give you 30 seconds and then we'll move on to the next question. So is man a social being? Y for yes and N for no. All right. The result is 100%. Man is a social being. And if you look at the quote, from back then, it seemed like people had idea. So let's look into this context, how important it is for us to be in the social being in the context and have to live accordingly. And this is what the seminar will teach us. My next question would be, if I were to ask you, this is something relating to the tricks and trade of social insurance. So if I were to ask you, how productive you are, if you feel that you are productive and contributing to your organizational goals, and I'm sure everyone will say yes or will raise your hand. And if I were to ask you if your organization feels that you all are contributing to the company's goals, to the objectives and being productive, then I'm sure you will continue raising your hand. But here's the twist. If I were to ask you if you are, or if I'm asking you if you are able to meet your deadlines or accomplish your tasks within the deadlines, then I'm sure somebody of you will think twice how many times we got an extension. But here's my real question. My real question is, how many of you feel that the social environment around you, okay, the social system, including your technology, including your applications, and including your colleagues, your coworkers, your support system, and your managers, your supervisors, and the organizational culture is not a hindrance towards your objectives or towards you seeking the goals or towards your productivity? So here I would need your answer in the form of Y for yes and N for no. I repeat the question again. How many of you feel that the social environment is a hindrance that includes your coworkers, your managers? It could be your manager's attitude, his communication skills, his social skills, body language, how he talks and how thankful he is towards your presence, towards your contributions, and how good of a person he is when it comes to being empathic or being sympathetic to you. And how good is he when it comes to treating you as a coworker, not as an employee, but more of a coworker, and how friendly he is treating you as a human capital, something that is as a source of sustained competitive advantage for his existence. and how good he is with encroaching your personal space and giving you the personal space that you need. So if the question is clear, you can please start writing your answer. If social system is a hindrance, if you think it stops you from being more productive, the answer is yes. I'm waiting for the answers. Is the question clear? If not, you can, we don't have too many people here, so I think we can have a more interactive session. I'm seeing the answers are yes. Is the social system a hindrance? Okay. Is the communication aspect of your coworkers, your colleagues a hindrance? If they were more social, would you be more productive? Y for a yes and N for a no. All right. So some of you feel that the social system is a hindrance. And if you do, then in this context, we will look at how we can be socially intelligent, how important it is to foster a relationship, build contacts, build a rapport, develop a network, and how does this work out for man as a social being. All right, any more? All right, so with that, we can move on to our topic of the day as to how to be a socially intelligent individual, or how important is social intelligence. Before I get to the slide, I would like to give you guys a brief on what we plan to do, because once we get to the slide, it might be a little bit of, impersonal, one-way traffic, because we don't have the interactive section. I would like to talk a little bit about, why we chose this topic. So some of you may not be familiar with social intelligence, which is fine, okay? But I'm sure most of you are familiar with emotional intelligence. Emotional intelligence is about being able to manage your emotionals, your internal bias feelings in relation to your surroundings and in relation to your